Good to see everybody. Hope you're doing well. A couple of people, so I was a couple of minutes late. So like, Adam, is the live still happening? It absolutely is still happening. We've got some great questions in today, so I'm going to be answering those questions for you this evening. We're going to be going over a ton of info. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I've been doing today, some of the things that I've been working on. I've actually been really working quite hard today, even though it's a bank holiday. Let me know what it is you've been up to, what it is you've been doing on your bank holiday, whether you've been relaxing or have you been working, have you been putting things in place, what is it you've been up to? Let me know in the comments as you come on. Amy said, hi, how are you doing, Amy? Good to see you, darling. Where are you up to on Wealth System? Let me know where you're up to on Instagram Secrets. Be really pleased to hear where you're up to. Hi, Leslie. How you doing, darling? Hope you're well. Hope things are going good for you. Good to see you on the live as well. So as you come on tonight, introduce yourselves. If you have any questions that you want to ask me, put it in the comments. We've got a load of questions. The questions range from being basic to advanced tonight. So we've got a couple that should be easy to shoot through, and I can give some really good, direct, straight answers. And some of the others are quite advanced. And as we go through them, I'm going to give you a range of different answers, which should provide a lot of content for every single person that's watching. Hi, Helen. How are you, my darling? Hope you're doing well. Let me know what you've been up to. Hopefully you're feeling super positive. Leslie's saying, I'm making a batch of fruit mix chutney. It's you certainly got some personality, Leslie, that's for sure. Right, my homie saying I'm trying to contact 100 people, as it says in 30/30 Wealth System. So far I've done 37. Well, that's 37 people that are now going to become opportunities using that social network instructor. So you're doing really good. Jordan's saying, looking fresh, mate. Am I? That's good. I'm feeling these curls are coming back. This self haircutting thing, not good. You see the back of my hair? It's going to be a ponytail soon. But yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Andrew Miller, how are you, man? Hope you're well. Helen saying she's good. Kirsty's just joined. How you doing, Kirsty? How you getting on Instagram Secrets? I see you got that today. Helen saying very positive, been relaxing in the sun. I'm going to do some more Instagram today. Good stuff. Cam saying hello. Good stuff. Cam's just joined. Taking on 3 new pieces of work tonight. Well, one of the questions is HR related tonight, Helen. So you want to stay through the live because it could be someone that you can add some value to here today as well on this live, which would be great for everybody. So as I said, as you come on, let me know in the comments what it is you've been up to. What's been happening, what you've been implementing, what you've been putting in place, how many of you had the day off and chilled out, how many of you have been working hard, what is it you've been doing today. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I've been doing today. Today I've been doing some self SEO. One of the things, obviously, many of you will know, and I've trained most of you on social media, or many of you on social media, most of you on business. But actually today, being it's a quiet time, this is, a lot of people look at it like a bank holiday. I'm looking at it today like a bonus day. I get a bonus day of work uninterrupted to put things in place, and actually been doing some self SEO. So I've been on claim, because it's just little things like, all my books on Amazon, collating them and claiming them, putting them on Goodreads, doing all the backlinks, different things like that. I've actually been doing that myself, and it's something that you'd never, ever get time to do. And actually I found a cool, and I'll tell you, actually, I found a cool little site that I've been working through that's actually really simple, really easy to use, called Brand Yourself. And that just helps you manage your online brand. It looks at everything that you do. It's actually really, really cool. And I stumbled across it earlier, and I found it so easy to work with. I've ended up spending about 4 hours working through it and using it in the right way, and it's pretty cool. So it's definitely been helpful. And already, when I've looked at the actual results, I've seen some good results from it, which is phenomenal, because people say SEO can take months or years, and the reality is it don't really have to. The simple stuff, the basics you can do. Obviously, if you want an expert, speak to the experts. Chris within our group is an expert on SEO. And actually, I texted him while I was doing it and said, hey, buddy, and asked him a couple of questions, and he come back straight to me with a couple of good answers. So I don't think I've tagged him in, but if you need an expert SEO, Chris is your man. And if you need the basics, then you can start yourself off on the basics for sure, So been doing that. in addition to doing some more content. So I've been content producing for home-based business. As I said to you all before, we've got a webinar coming up. It's coming up on Wednesday. We've had an insane amount of registrations today. I don't even know what happened today. And funnily enough, some of the questions are on social media tonight and how to get your brand out there. Obviously, we use a lot of social media advertising, but one of the questions relates to not having a social media advertising budget. But I can tell you, well, I'll tell you what, I'll save that for the question rather than go off on it. But I did quite a bit of social media myself yesterday. Did several lives, did a live on YouTube, did a live on Facebook group in the morning and in the evening, did a live on my personal profile, and fed that off to other places as well. And I've seen a ton of inquiries coming back from that, and we'll discuss that, and we'll kind of talk about that strategy at a live on Instagram as well. When I walked my dogs yesterday, I had 100, I think it's 168 people viewing at once on the live on Instagram, which is pretty good. So it's a lot of conversations to be having at once, you know, so that's good stuff. So we'll talk a bit more about that. So Andrew's saying definitely, Helen's saying brill. Sue's been chilling out with the family. Well, that's really good. You're working your way through Instagram secrets, Kirsty saying, and she's loving it. We're getting so many people like today. It's funny because I haven't did a lot of promotion for it when we first launched it a few days ago, but I haven't over promoted it. But we now seem to have people filtering through constantly, loads of people adding on. You know, Kirsty, make sure you tag me in your stories, tag James in your stories. I've been speaking to James again today. James has actually come up with an awesome idea. A really, really good idea of something that we're going to do together, which will relate to Instagram secrets, where we're going to be starting a new Instagram page and actually demonstrating the growth of an Instagram page from scratch. And literally, that's going to be really cool. So that'll happen next week, and everyone involved, we're going to let you know. We'll record it, demo it, and show you what we're doing with it in order to grow it. So it should be quite a good, cool challenge, and you get all that content to go in there as well, because we're still just going to keep adding content to that because there's so much content to go in and add in, which is pretty cool. So that's some good stuff. Leslie saying I have some complaints from Lordship upstairs about the smell. Fine. Chris is saying, evening Adam, I've been working away, good man. Hope things are being productive for you. Sunil saying Insta Secrets is great. Well, I'm really pleased that everybody's loving it. A lot of work went into it, hopefully, as you can see. And there's still a lot of work going into it, which is really, really cool. So I'm really pleased that everybody's enjoying that. Well, homie's saying that sounds really good. Yeah, it's an awesome idea. I really like the idea of what we're going to do. And it's going to add a big new content piece in there as well, which should be pretty cool. Okay, so I've got some good questions tonight, some really good questions. As I said before, if I get the questions, then I can just give content non-stop. And I think that really gives for a really, really good live. So if you've got questions, even if they don't get answered tonight, they'll be answered tomorrow. Always put them in the comments, because of the questions I've had today. So the first question was a really good question for a lot of people, which Jordan asked. What do you do to get social media traffic to your website, or to get leads out of social media if you don't have any ad budget and you can't really promote your business using ads? But how do you get the traffic, and how do you get people over to your website? So we'll cover that. We'll discuss that. Absolutely. We've got a question from Amanda, and that is about terms and conditions. So how do you get your terms and conditions created for your business? So we'll discuss that too. We'll go over that for you. We had another one. What's the best way to get your business out there with social media? If you're just starting out, or you're like a novice with social media, that's from Sheena, and we will answer that this evening as well. What's the best way to get your business out there on social media? From a standard, I'll give you some different strategies, because we spoke quite a bit about social, but I'll give you some different strategies tonight, and I'll tell you about some of the things that we do, and that'll be helpful. Wahomie's asked about Instagram and using the promoted posts, so we'll discuss that as well. Stephanie's asked about timing of social media posts. Has the landscape with that changed in terms of, should you just be posting regularly? When should you be posting? When should you be getting things out? Asked about the timing, so we'll go over that as well, and I'll tell you what we're doing, which hopefully should shed some light on that. And then Sam has asked about, in terms of now he's got a list, how often should he be mailing his list? How often should he be communicating with his list? And how often should he be getting his message out there? So I'll answer all those questions tonight, plus any questions that you come up with. So if you've got any other burning questions you want to ask, just put them in the comments. Make sure, so tonight I'm using the Live Creator Studio rather than just the Facebook Live thing. And it doesn't show you the hearts and the things. I don't think it does anyway, right? So I need you to all throw out some hearts to me and let me know, because I'm pretty sure it doesn't do that. And that, of course, when you're doing the live, I mean, this is a typical engagement question, but when you're doing a live video, you want to get that engagement going. You want to be asking people to throw out the love, throw out the hearts. So if everybody just takes a second to start throwing out the hearts a little bit, then what that's going to do is that's going to drive that message to more people in the group, and that's going to allow more people to see the video and more people to get exposure to the content, okay? But you actually can't see it on the new Live Creator. You can't see the hearts. It's a shame. I used to love all that love that Amy Jessica, she was throwing out the hearts non-stop. Nisa used to throw out the hearts non-stop, but I haven't seen Nisa on the lives. Where are you, my dear? Right, okay, so let's get into the first question, everyone. Helen, that's lovely. So Helen's actually put me a heart in the comments, so that's pretty cool. So I appreciate that, Helen. Thank you very much. Okay, made me blush. Right, so Jordan's question, what do you do with Facebook marketing or Instagram marketing, whatever it is? Social media marketing was the actual question. You didn't actually name a channel. In terms of getting your message out there, driving traffic to your website without having any ad budget. Well, I mentioned live video yesterday, and what I did yesterday, so just to give you an example, I looked earlier on at our ClickFunnels, and we've had 162 inquiries come through from organic social media yesterday. 162 inquiries. Now, those 162 inquiries from various different things, that was on one thing that I posted. So if you looked, at the videos I did yesterday, the only link that really I put out there was about the home-based business webinar. So I went live on YouTube. I went live on Facebook, my public figure page. I went live on my Adam Stock personal page, and I went live on the group. So there's 3 Facebook pages that I was live on, and there was YouTube as well that I was live on. So I was live on all of those different things. And the thing that I mentioned about was the webinar. That we've got free content on the home-based business webinar. Anyone that wants to start a business from home or understand how to grow it into a 6-figure business, 7-figure business then after, can go on that webinar. And that is the link I put out there. And we had 162 inquiries from that link. Now, that was 162 inquiries without spending a single penny, right? Literally, all that I invested in getting those inquiries was my time, all right? Now, I do understand that I have got a following. So in this group, I've got 12,000 people in this group, and we'll come to groups later because I'm going to discuss that with you tonight as well. I've got 330,000 that people follow me on Facebook, on my Adam Stock page. I've got 5,000 on my personal page, and I've got 1,200 on YouTube. So not massive on YouTube, right, at the moment. But even if you take away the fact it was 162, and let's say it was 16, right? Say that your following's a tenth of the size. Say that it's not even a tenth of the size. Say that you got 2 inquiries. If you were able to just spend 30 minutes a day having conversations using live video, giving demonstrations, answering questions, maybe doing, I know Jordan's in fitness, doing workouts, whatever it might be, showing what you're doing, and you're actually there to put your link there where people can go and ask you further questions, they can inquire to you, they can get some type of value exchange, then you will find very, very quickly that you start to generate free inquiries, and you can put your website link in there and you can drive them across. Now, this is the problem, right? Most people on their websites have very low converting websites. So even though you might have got some people over from your live video over to your website, if your website's not geared up for inquiry conversion, you'll find that you get very, very few inquiries. And it looks like you're doing a lot of work and not getting a lot of result. Now, the thing is, the people might have clicked the link, they might have gone and checked you out. But after they've gone and clicked the link, and after they've gone and checked you out, if you've got no form visible, or the form asks too many questions, and people kind of back out at the last minute, you're going to lose that inquiry, right? So this is why with those types of inquiries, we would use ClickFunnels, because the forms are very visible, they're very easy to see, they're very, very quick to fill in, they manage and track the data very, very well, and we use landing pages rather than actual websites. If I send all the traffic, if you look at what I do, you'll notice I very, very rarely, and I mean rarely, put a link to the Big Business Events website, despite that being our main website. And the reason we don't do that, even though that is a high converting website, if you go and look at it, the reason we don't do that is because the contact forms are not as efficient as they are through ClickFunnels, which means we will lose people, we'll lose the traffic, and we won't convert the traffic that we're sending over. So the answer to the question is that live video is super powerful. So you want to be looking at using live video. You want to get inventive on your live videos. And if like I said tonight, I wanted to do a Q&A. If it was fitness, I'd probably be doing some exercise or some demonstrations. Funnily enough, on my Adam Stott page, someone wanted me to sing. I was like, what are you talking about? They actually wanted me to sing. It's all over the comments. Can you sing me a song? I'm like, are you having a laugh? Definitely not singing. But if that's what you do, then why not, right? And Amy's doing the dancing, why not? Whatever it is, you want to engage the audience. You're there. Remember that the live video that you're doing is there to provide entertainment. It's there to provide entertainment. It's there to excite people. It's there to give something. It's something of value. Now, if in that conversation you're able to give further value, so what I was doing yesterday is I was saying, look, if you want to go and have an hour and a half's worth of training, go on to the Home-Based Business webinar. It's on Wednesday. It's the links in the comments. And what that does is that drives that traffic over, and I'm explaining the value of what I'm offering during the live video that I'm actually doing. And that forms a part of the call to action. Now, if I did 7 or 8 different calls to action, well, do this, do this, do this, do this, do that, the audience will get confused. So that's why you've got to keep it quite simple when you're doing the actual video. And this is what I mean, it's like, you've got to be strategic, right? So before I did those videos, I knew what I wanted. Before I did the videos, I wanted to get more people on the webinar, right? That was part of what I wanted to do. So if I wanted to get more people on the webinar, I'll talk a little bit about the webinar. I'll put the link in there about the webinar, and I will instruct the people to go there. Simple stuff. But if you just do a live video and you've not been strategic and you've not thought about what it is you're doing, or you've not thought about what it is you want the person that's going to watch you on the live video to do, you end up not getting the result that you wanted. So you have to be strategic and think about the end result before you do anything. Some people want to just go and do the lives to give content, and that's fine too, because as you go out and you give more content, you give more value, you're going to build fans. But there comes a point where those fans are going to want to do more with you. They're going to want to do something else with you, and you've got to give them that direction on how they can do that next thing with you, or how they can get that piece of content, or how they can get this, how they can get that. That's kind of how you want to move them forward onto the next step. All right. So for me, social media right now, in terms of using social media right now to generate free inquiries with actually spending no money on advertising, and by the way, the fastest, easiest, quickest way is to use advertising. If you know how to use it properly, you'll generate leads, you'll generate income, you'll generate sales, even in the worst time in history. Whether it's the worst time in history, probably the worst time in social media history right now for actually people going out there and doing stuff, you still get loads of sales and you'll still get loads of opportunities, because even if you're speaking to 10 people, one of those 10 people want what you're offering. You have to keep that thought in your mind. One of those people want it. And if you don't offer it, or you don't tell them what to do, then you're letting down that one person. And that's kind of the mentality you need to have when you're doing what you're doing, right? And if you do that, you'll find you'll get better results. So for me, live video is really, really good. The next thing I'd say after live video would be a group. Now, obviously, you can combine live videos and groups, and that's what I'm doing now. But if you've got a group, you do get a higher level of engagement. You get more people going onto your posts, you get more people going onto your videos. You can build a community of like-minded people. And once you've built that community of like-minded people, you'll find that actually, like I said yesterday on the Adam Stott page, I've got some guy saying, Adam, can you sing? I'm like, I'm not a dancing monkey, right? I'm not here, that's not what I do. I'm here to give advice and guidance on business and everything else like that. But you're not going to get that comment in a group, because that person wouldn't be in the group, right? Not that I've got a problem with that. I thought it was quite funny. But what I mean is, that person probably wouldn't be in the group, because you can monitor and you can maintain the group and you can put people into the group. And I probably will transition from this question into the next, into a different question in a moment, which is another social media related question. And the reason I'm going to do that is they're so closely aligned, that they'll really help you to see a bigger picture when it comes to social media strategy, right? So the next thing I would do is it helps to make the different announcements about when you're going to do what you're going to do. It helps if you've got actual content plan that you're going to line up and actually line out exactly what content plan you're going to follow. And I've shown many of you Business Academy members, Goal Circle members, people that are with, been on our trainings. I've shown you the simplest, easiest, fastest way to create a content plan, and I've shown you it with Post-it notes. So who's seen me do that, right? So if you've seen me do that, put it in the comments, and you'll know what I mean. But what I want to do is get you to actually start documenting what you're going to do in terms of content for the next 30 days, and get that in a place where it's visible, where you can see it, so you don't get stuck with what to say, you don't get stuck with what you're going to go over. And after some time, it just becomes easy, And I think if you watched my video yesterday and you saw what we were discussing yesterday, I was talking about how you transition into just being more natural with it. And if you transition into being more natural with it, the audience enjoys it more, you enjoy it more, everyone enjoys it more. That's it's just a lot easier. But you're not going to get to being natural with it until you've done it 50, 60, 70 times. Now, my best advice will be do it 50, 60, 70 times in the next couple of months while you've got the time. You don't become great at anything without practice and actually putting the work in. So we need to go and put that work in, and then we'll start to transition. So for me, live videos are great. Groups are great. I say live videos, live streaming at any of the live sites, YouTube, LinkedIn now, Instagram. They're all. This is where the eyeballs are. This is where everyone is. That's been said for many years. Yeah, I think that it is absolutely fundamentally true more than ever right now, because as people sit at home, they're not really going to Google for things, and why are they not going to Google for things really? Because even if they go to Google and they find something, they can't necessarily buy it, right? Because is it going to be delivered? Is it open? All these kind of things. So what they're doing, they're turning to social media in the moment to look for entertainment, right? That's something that's really, really important. They're turning to social media to look for entertainment. Now, on that home-based business webinar, I speak to about the flow of money and how money flows, and entertainment is one of the places that money flows. So you've got to go out there and you've got to look to entertain your audience in some way. Now, that might be that you entertain them educationally. It might be you entertain them with fun. It might be you entertain them with humor. But you've got to entertain the audience as well to keep their attention. And this is where your confidence becomes really, really important. And actually being, a confident person, because the best way to get good at this stuff is to not care. Right, that is the best way to get good at it, because every time you're caring, I can look at a live video now, and as I look at the live video, without even clicking the live video, without watching the live video, I can tell if that person is confident or not, just from actually seeing their body language, like without even tuning in. Now, how many of you would agree? Put it in the comments if you could agree, or you would agree with me. Put it in the comments, say yes, or if you know what I'm talking about. You're seeing someone doing a live video and they don't look confident with what they're doing, right? So you've got to build upon that confidence, and the building of that confidence comes from competence, which means that you are good at something. Now, the only reason that you get good at something is if you do it enough to become good at it, or you get the education, the information, and you learn from it. And that's how you start to become better. That's how you start to grow. And that's how you start to get better results. Okay. So for me, live video, groups as well. Another one, Jordan that asked this question, another one which is good for everybody, right, is actually that social networking piece. I can honestly say, in the past have not had time to be socially networking. So the principle of social networking is that you use social media as a networking platform in the same as you would if you went to a networking meeting. So you go and just start looking at who's liking your post, who's sharing your post, who's watching your post, who's watching your stories, who's commenting on your stories, and you start a conversation with them, all right? And you can open the conversation with them if you want to, saying, oh, you seem to have been watching my stories, just thought I'd say hello and how you doing. You even say, I'm trying to make my content better. What's the sort of stuff you want to see? And open a conversation up. Like a guy did to me yesterday after the live video on my personal page, sent me a message, someone in Australia that I haven't spoken to for 10 years. And I started having a conversation with him. Actually found it really interesting what he was doing. And it's the first time I've had time to go back and actually start a conversation. Usually I wouldn't have been able to do it, right? Or usually it would have been one of the team that was doing that for me. So I actually did myself and actually had a really productive conversation with this chap. So social networking and going out and reaching out to people, this is the things, like say you want to fill a webinar, right? You could do that in multiple different ways. You could do it through using live video and asking people to go to the webinar, okay, as I do. You could do it through advertising and actually promoting and using the back end of Facebook or back end of Instagram or even the promotional post, whatever, to go and promote that webinar as well. And you will get people there. But you could also just reach out to 2,000 people. So I've got this thing coming up. It's really interesting. If you think you want to check it out, and out of those 2,000 people, you probably will get 100 people to say, actually, I'm interested. Now, that's a lot of work, but it still works. So if you're telling me you don't have any ad budget, when you've got no ad budget, what you usually have got is time. Because if you had ad budget, you'd obviously be making money. So you'd be smart enough to go, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to reinvest that money to save myself time, because this is the game of money and time when it comes to marketing. If you have no money, you do have time, because you'd have money if you had clients, and obviously you're struggling for clients, which means you haven't got loads of clients, which means you've got time. So this is that time money struggle, right? When you get the clients, you reinvest the money in the marketing to go and get more clients. And that's how you scale a business. It's you take what you've earned, you invest it, you put the fuel in your business in order to fire it up and get it going, which is in the marketing to get it going. Now, what I find with a lot of business owners a lot of the time is they get very, very, very nervous over ad spend. So those of you who've been on Rockstar will know, and I've spoken about this before, is if it comes to going out and buying a Nando's, or probably the worst thing to say right now, because how many of you are craving a Nando's? Put it in the comments if you fancy a Nando's right now. I know I do. Sorry if Hiran's watching, he's vegan, but absolutely. Mind you, I'll tell you something else actually in a moment. I watched that Tiger King last night. I think that's enough to make me go vegetarian, I think, to be fair. Anybody watch Tiger King on Netflix? I must admit, I can highly recommend that. I really, really enjoyed it. It was really cool. If you've been watching that, let me know, pop it in the comments and let me know what you think. But I thought it was absolutely awesome, right? But yeah, if you fancy Nando's, put that in the comments as well. I actually do badly fancy Nando's. Anyway, this is why people get nervous when it comes to marketing, right? They go out there, they go to Nando's, they order whatever they're having Nando's, the bill comes in, it's 20, they pay the bill, they move on, crack on, job done, right? And they're happy with the value exchange. What they wanted is they wanted a good meal, and what they got was a good meal. So that value, they knew the price, they were happy with the deal, they walked away, they never thought about it again. Now when it comes to spending £20, £30 on marketing for your business, whether it's on an ad or £50, £100, whatever it is, people get super nervous. Like, did it work yet? What's happened? It's a control thing. It's because it's outside of your control as to whether you get the responses. So you get kind of nervous. But the reality is, once you start doing the marketing and you start testing and you start working marketing in the right way, the results will start to come back. But this is another place where people go wrong when it comes to marketing, is they will do something once, and if it doesn't work instantaneously, they'll be like, oh, that didn't work, I'm never doing that again, without realizing they were only a tiny tweak, or a headline, or a bit of better copy, or a slightly different image, or a better message. They were just that much away from getting a breakthrough in their business, literally that much away. And that is something that I feel holds business owners back massively. I test marketing nonstop. I just do not care if it doesn't work. That's the reality. Because if it doesn't work, I know that I found something that doesn't work. And that leads me on to what I call the killer ads, which are the ads that just work insanely, because I take what doesn't work, I tweak it, I mend it, I make it better, I improve it, and I go out there and I do it again. And each time I make it better, make it better, make it better. Like for this, for the webinar that we're running, a home-based business webinar, I told the team to run like 40 ads for it. Out of the 40 ads, by day 2, day 2.5, I turned off 20 of them, but I wasn't bothered because I knew they still worked, they still converted, but they were a price point that I wasn't happy with. And this is where we get to optimization and bringing costs down. They're at a price point I wasn't happy with. But the 20 we left on were at a price point I was happy with. So it was like fantastic. That's kind of how we need to judge marketing and how we need to judge what we're doing. And, I think everybody out there right now should be testing marketing. That's what's going to build your business. That's what's going to build your brand, and we had a question from Carolina yesterday, I think, that said about people being nervous about spending money. Well, the reality is, as I said to you, give it 2, 3, 4 weeks and people will actually be back in a place where they're less nervous. They're thinking, actually, I've got some money. I'm not going out drinking. I'm not going out spending money. I'm not doing loads of, I'm not buying 10 things off Amazon a day because all of a sudden I can't, all these different things. I'm not going to Nando's, so all of a sudden people start to get that income coming back and they're going to want to look to different services. Like I can tell you that I have instructed and bought 4 or 5 things today that were not small in terms of investment size. Okay. So, and at the end of the day, that's me, but there's a lot of people out there that like that as well. Like I really have. And when you look at that, it is that people are buying out there. If people are not buying from you now, it's just you're not reaching them yet. So you've got to put more effort into reaching them. And if you reach the people, now, will it be a bit harder? Yeah, it might be a little bit harder. Will your conversions be a bit lower? Yeah, it will be a bit lower. But all the time that you're putting your message out there and you're connecting with people, you are building your brand. You're starting to get yourself out there. People starting to know you, people starting to know what you do, and you're building things up. So don't forget that as well, because this is the thing about marketing and ad spend. It has an intangible quality to it. Now, something that's tangible is something you can measure. Something intangible you can't measure, right? So sometimes with your marketing, you can't actually measure what it brings to you. And that is what people get nervous about. People get nervous about that aspect of it. But believe me, the fuel to firing up a business and the way to grow a business is by getting your marketing right. So I'm going to answer that was a long answer to the first question. I hope you enjoyed that answer, everybody. So Amy said, does live create enable you to go Instagram live at the same time? It doesn't, I'm afraid, my dear, which is a shame. Loving that. You're throwing out the hearts. So I appreciate that, Amy. So just going to read out some of the questions before we get into the next comments. Susan, how do you build a following on YouTube? Okay, so whether I cover that today, I'll see how we do in terms of time, or whether I cover that tomorrow. I better plug this laptop in because it's just given me the symbol. It's gonna go, and we'll move this across. Now you can see my little elephant there. Where is it? Oh, it's over that side. Like the elephant, everyone? Right, that helps me get this charger plugged in. Okay, so whether we are able to, maybe if not, I'll say YouTube for tomorrow, but we'll hopefully we'll see how we go on the time. Andrew saying, perfect, you've answered several questions there already, Adam. This is what I was spending my time thinking about in my videos. Helen saying, Jordan saying he love it. And he said, you sang a bit on the 30-30 world system the other day. What did I sing, Amy? What did I actually sing? That's it. If you want to hear me sing and you actually want to hear my beautiful voice, which is phenomenal, then you do need to go and get the 30-30 world system. That is the answer to that. Absolutely. So what was I singing, Amy? Please do let me know in the comments. That'll be awesome. Okay, I'll be really, really pleased to know what it is that you're saying there. I'm just going to take I'm just grabbing the actual link to the webinar because I've mentioned that a couple of times. And I'm going to put that in the comments for everybody. So if you want to, you can go over and you can get that, get yourself registered for that webinar because it'd be really good. So Alison's just got in. Will I be able to catch up? You should be able to catch up. It will be on the page. I was hoping to use this lockdown for time for prep for growth, but I'm getting too many sales, so I need to keep fulfilling the orders. Well, that's not saying to moan about, Ronat. That's good stuff, my man. Helen's laughing about my dancing monkey comment. Oh, that's going a little bit back. Dan, what's the difference between the page and a group? We have a page, but we think a group would be better for our business. So Again, that's another, I can give a really detailed answer, but I'll give a very short answer, but I might talk more about groups anyway. So I'll be giving on the next question, I'm going to be going into groups. But the reality is a group's got a lot higher engagement. So more people see your message, more people get your notifications. And if you're throwing those hearts out there, it feeds the message more to the people in the group. Okay, so Alison's saying, how can we create customers if Facebook is mainly your friends? How do we engage with new people? Okay, so there's another good question there. So the answer to that is you've got to expand outwards from just being your friends and start a business page and maybe start a group page and decide what one you're going to use, what one you're going to grow, what you're going to develop. And I'm going to answer a question on social media in a minute, which hopefully will clear some of those stuff up. You can also get my social media secrets program, show you all of that, how to do that. I have a question if you can fit it in. I don't think we're going to fit in today, Chris, but I will do it tomorrow. Post-it notes, Helen remembers. I'm just reading all these comments before we get into the next questions. Is this on Facebook? Sunil Shan, she agrees. Yes, I'd agree. Absolutely. You can tell by the body language. So loads of comments there. A lot of people mentioned about Nando's, which is pretty cool. Okay, so it was a bit of a 50 Cent song. So Helen likes the elephant. So the next question, I'm going to go straight to, I think it was Sheena's question about building, getting the business out there with social media. So this is what... This will be relevant for a lot of questions that I just saw on the page that people were asking. A lot of people feel that you need this huge following to make an impact on social media. The reality is you don't. You actually don't. Those of you that are using Instagram Secrets will know that there's a section in there. And in that section, what I discuss is how to make your first £1,000 using social media online, right? And on that first, the reason I'm referencing that is because it's simplistic, right? I'm just going to tell you a little bit about what I say in there. And what I say is that many people think in order to make your first 1,000 or your first 5,000, 10,000, 50,000, I do a sliding scale where you go 50,000, 100,000, etc. But I'm just going to focus on the first 1,000, right? Because that's where many of you might be. Well, what you need to do in order to build your first 1,000 is not to earn your first £1,000 with social media marketing is not necessary to have a massive following. Realistically, what you've got to do is have a good following of a small amount of people. So look at it. Let's say you send something for £100. Well, then you only need 10 people, right? You only need 10 people. So if you've got 10 people that are your fans, that interact with you and that like your content and like your stuff and that are liking your posts and doing all the stuff, we only need to sell 10 of them something for £100 and then you've made your first 1,000. That's how simple it is. So you want to build that following, engage that following. So those of you that are on the Business Academy call that I did, seems like ages ago now because I think we've been in lockdown. But those of you on that Business Academy call, is I showed you that the first step of marketing is actually building that awareness. And once we've built the awareness, i.e. the awareness is somebody knows who you are, they know what you do, okay? And if you build that awareness and they know who you are and they know what you do, then after that, the second step is a step that most people miss, and that is engagement. Okay, it's actually engaging with those people. So the thing that you've got to do is you've got to look at the people who are aware of you, aware of your products and services, and then you've got to look to go and engage them. Now, the best way to engage them is the next step is by being able to provide them with a value exchange, something of value. Now, that value exchange could be an ebook. It could be a webinar where you give more content. It could be a consultancy call. It could be a demo. You know, let's face it, right now, it just could be a conversation, you know, a conversation with somebody that actually you reach out to somebody. Because this is a thing, like there might be a lot of people that are sitting there alone on their own that are a bit bored, right? Or a bit bored, they might be a bit lonely, they might be a bit down, they might be climbing the walls. But the reality is in you reaching out to them, you're making a small difference in a difficult time for them. So that engagement is how you actually build that following. So don't worry about building a following. Really look at the depth of your following rather than the width. It doesn't matter if you've got 100,000 people. This is the pure reality. I've got 330,000 people that follow me on Facebook. And when I do a live on this group, I get much better interaction. And the reason is because my clients are on here, the people that know me are on here, the people that bought my products and services, and the people in our business academy or Rockstar Social, Rockstar Business, DNA, Gold Circle, the people on Instagram Secrets now, the people using Well System now. They've bought my products and services and they've received value, therefore they like what we do, and we now have a relationship. Because that's what you got to look at building. It's about building relationships. You don't need 100,000 people. What you probably need for your first 1,000 is 10. For your first 10,000, you might need 100. For your first 50,000, you might need 500. For your first 100,000, you might need 1,000 people, right, that love what you do. Okay, so that's kind of what we've got to get into with the mentality when it comes to following. So really go into the depth of it rather than the width, and look at what value do I add these people and cultivate relationships. Just remember that the person that you're speaking to on social media, at the other end of it, you might see them as a little circle with their face on it, of their very best picture that they've possibly got, whatever it might be. But you just got to remember that that person is a person, and they are doing something as you message them somewhere else. And literally, if they're showing an interest in what you do, they're showing an interest in what you do because you are adding value to them in that moment. Now, I know it can be frustrating in the beginning. It can be frustrating in the beginning when you start to build a following, or you start to get your message out there, or you take your new brand out there and people aren't seeing what you're doing and people aren't seeing what you're saying. That, you know, there isn't, especially if you're not going to have any ad spend, there isn't a magic pill. Now, the magic pill is you start using some ad spend, then you go out there and you spend money to attract the right audience and the right followers. And once you master that, which is something I teach, as many of you know, then you can get that done very, very quickly. But if you're going to do it where you're just going to do it from an organic way and start getting your message out, then you're going to have patience, and you're going to have to engage the people massively. So the people that do watch you live, if you know who they are, you message them afterwards. You say, you know, thanks, blah, blah, blah. What did you think of this? What did you think of that? How are you doing? What's happening? And you start those conversations. Now, if you do that, and you do it every single time that you do something, and you engage with every single person, you will start to get the depth of following where people like who you are, like what you do, know who you are. And all of a sudden, those people are going to turn into your clients. Those people are going to turn, and look, let's face it, if they don't turn into one of your clients, they might even turn into something more valuable. And what might that be? That might be one of your fans. They turn into one of your fans, that actually often is more valuable than a client, because the client might buy one thing and not buy loads more things or whatever, but the fan that you've got might spread positive vibe and positive messages about you non-stop to everybody, which in turn starts to bring more awareness to you, and it could bring you 7, 8, 9, 10 clients. And a lot of people forget that. You know, where that's a really, really good thing to keep in your mind, that you want to turn followers into fans. And if you turn followers into fans, that's when you're really going to start to get results with your social media. Okay, so let's have a look at these comments. Let's just make sure I feel that I've answered that question. Yeah, so it's Sheena that asked the question. So the advice that was given is obviously live video. We look at group strategy. We look at the depth of the following. We engage the people that we're speaking to. If we've got the ad budget, we start testing the ads and we start investing in the ads in the right way. And best to get some guidance on that, either through Instagram Secrets, Social Media Secrets. Like for me, the best products out there, even though I created them, but they are, because there's a lot of knowledge in there. So that kind of stuff is going to add some value to you. If you're right at the beginning, you're brand new, you're starting out, start getting your message out there, have patience, let it build, engage the people that you're speaking with, and eventually those people are going to start to see the value that you provide. And this is it, right? If you're not providing value, then you've got to look at your message. You have to look a little bit at your message, and you have to look at your message and say, if I'm not providing value, what do I need to do differently? Because once you start providing the value, I promise you the people will follow. All right, that's just part of how it works. So we want to provide the value, and then the people will follow as well. You know, it's another good thing to say. Okay, so let's have a look at these comments, everybody. So we've got body language is key, absolutely. I mean, on the body language, if you want to stand up, stand up. If you don't feel super comfortable standing up, don't stand up. You know, if you want to try it sitting down, try it sitting down. Try it a couple of different ways. See how you feel. See which is you feel comes across best, and use that. You know. Because that will make a difference to you, you know, and you'll start to get more comfortable. Okay, so Andrew's saying, brilliant. He's decided to have some more conversations. Got a few more Nando's comments. We've got people loving the Nando's. I should go eat vegan. Do you know what? I love animals. Like, I really do love animals, and I would like to be, but I don't know why. I like that is true. I probably should go vegan. I just don't know, but I think I would struggle. That is the truth. Okay, so it made me laugh. Good stuff. Ronak saying, if you don't have the ad budget, auction unwanted products around the house, go out and sell stuff on eBay. Absolutely. Give me some extra fuel in these times. Perfect answer. 50 Cent. So Helen's saying she's going to come back for the HR question. That's fine. This is so true. One of the biggest tips on TikTok right now as well. Absolutely. So Sheena's saying, brilliant. That's what I needed to hear. So really some good answers here, everybody. You've just made me elevate my thinking. Okay, no problem. So really pleased that that's added some value to you. So let's, so when we go over, should we have a massive group Nando's? That would be pretty cool. I'd certainly be up for that. Okay, so Amanda asked the questions on terms and conditions. So terms and conditions, really simple. You can go and get them done online. You can go somewhere like Rocket Lawyer. Just get them done nice, quick. Alternatively, there's a couple of really good people in this group, Amanda, that if you want more specialist terms and conditions, that you can get them written. And Helen, who I'm taking now, will be one of those people. Sarah is another one of those people, Sarah Hammond Gill as well. So you've got a couple of people there that you can speak to, and you can get those terms and conditions done by a HR consultant. Alternatively, you can go on Rocket Lawyer or somewhere online and you can get them done. It just depends, how specialist that you want them to be. Okay, so that's that one answered as well. We've got Wahomi's asked about promoted posts and things on Instagram. So the way you judge this, so this gets into a little bit more advanced territory, right? If you're trying to build the following on Instagram, if you haven't already, like literally, although I've mentioned it probably 1,000 times, and most people that are probably on the line have already got it. So forgive me if you've already got it, Instagram secrets, and do let me know how you're getting on. I'd love to know how many of you are enjoying the program, and if you're really doing great things with it, put it in the comments and let me know. If you haven't got it already, my first thing I would say to you is for what it costs, it's such a small investment, and the price is going up in literally 24 hours. So if you want to get Instagram secrets, you can still go and get it at the launch price of 97 quid. And you can still get it where you get tagged in stuff by James and me, and you get the exposure to like 900,000 people. So if you haven't got it already, you can go and get that. Just click the link, it's in there. You can go and do that straight away. In terms of the promoted posts with Instagram, and we are going slightly more advanced, is what you need to do is you need to look at your ad spend versus the amount of followers that you ascertain within the insights section. So you want to go into your insights, you want to see how many followers that you've gained from the promoted post you've done, and you want to just basically look at how much is it costing you per follower. So you need to look at what your follower cost is, and all you do is you take the ad budget and you divide it by the amount of followers you've got, and then you'll find out what it's costing you for a follower. Now, I outline on Instagram Secrets 4 or 5 strategies for getting more followers, and in the promoted post section, I'll give you a couple of different ways you can do that, and it just depends on which method that you're following that I've outlined. So if you're following kind of the most effective one, you should be paying less than 10 pence per follower on Instagram. If you're doing it really well, you'll see several of mine are operating at like 3 pence and 2 pence a follower. So we're gaining a new Instagram follower literally at 1 to 2p a follower, which means I can grow by 600-700 a day if I want to, very, very easily with very, very little ad spend. And that is exactly what we're doing. So that's going really, really well. And then I'm using the live video to speak to those people, introduce them, introduce myself to them. And literally that's awesome. Now, Jordan saying, what's a good price for a follower? Well, a good price, well, that is a very good price. I mean, it's a phenomenal price for a follower, because the pure reality is if you want to get followers on Instagram, it is a more difficult strategy. It's almost, if you don't know what to do, like literally, if you have no guidance, you will struggle to find out. Because I literally, when I created Instagram Secrets, I went out and I bought every single Instagram program on the market, and there was not a single one that give me a strategy that worked. Not a single one. And actually, in credit to Beth, and me and Beth sat down in the office, and I was like, oh, well, let's just try it. And basically, we tried something that had a similarity to some of the stuff we'd done on Facebook that worked. And we tried it, and we literally cracked it. It was self-cracked. And then we started running it, and then we just couldn't believe how effectively it was working. Just kept going up, and that's why then I thought, right, I'm going to teach this now, because it's not out there, it's not in the marketplace, and that's essentially what we did. But if you can gain followers at 3p for a follower on Instagram, then you're absolutely swimming the channel, right? As they would say. If you're gaining like local followers, you might like people that are very location based to you. You might be paying quite a bit more than that. You might be paying 30, 40, 50p a follower. If your business or your brand and you haven't got it on point and you don't 100% know what you're doing, you might be, with Instagram, it can be endless. It could be £10 a follower. You could lose them more than you get them. That's where the difficulty is. And that's why I would say for everyone, if you really do want to grow Instagram, if you don't care about Instagram, don't. But if you do want to grow Instagram, you should get Instagram secrets. Like, you really should. And I think anybody that's on the program would tell you that as well. So in terms of Wahome, I would say to you that you need to be patient. You need to allow it to build. You need to put more content on the page. You need to look at the content that I've suggested in terms of the quote cards, in terms of the infographics, everything that I've done, and you have to have some patience and let it build. It will come, but it might not come instantaneously, but it has for you anyway. Like, I looked at your following's already gone up 20% in about 3 days. So it is working. But remember, it's like anything. There's no magic fix. The fix comes and builds over time. That's with business, that's with marketing, that's with everything you do. It's a gradual increase, and things go up gradually. So don't expect instantaneous, but expect that over the course of a month or 2 months or 3 months or 4 months or 5 months, like, that's when it's going to explode, and that's where you're really going to gain, and that's where it's really, really going to grow. Okay, so that's the answers to that one. Steph's asked me about timing of Instagram posts. I don't think it's specifically Instagram. I think it's just timing in general. Like, has the timing changed? So one of the things that we're doing at the moment, this is, very rarely do I get asked a question that I can't give you a direct bang, this is the answer, because that's how I like to be. But the reality of this is, obviously, we're in new territory. There's a special word that everybody's saying at the moment, unprecedented. And in that new territory, what you've got a lot of people at home. You've got a lot of people doing things that they didn't usually do. So everyone's patterns have changed. So I will tell you what we're doing. We have run webinars at 7 p.m. at night. We have run webinars at 1 p.m. at lunchtime. We've run them at 2 p.m. In the future, we'll be running them at 10 a.m. And we're testing the sharp rates. We're testing the view rates. We're testing when people respond. You would have seen the times of my lives have mixed up because I'm testing the responses. And in any change in marketplace, in any change in things are happening, that's when you need to test as well, everyone. You need to start testing different routes. And if you test, you will very soon find out. I mean, the other thing is, on Instagram, you can see in the insights when your people are seeing your posts. This is something like with James. When I first sat down with James, one of the first things he was showing me is he's very, very much on the timings. He's always showing me on his phone, like this is when I'm going to post that, because this is when the most people can see it. This is when I'm going to post, because he's always looking at his insights. Now, if you've got fans around the world, not just in one country, you need to allocate time zones for that as well. So you need to be careful about the time zones when you post. So I know that you've got quite a few people in America, Stephanie. So you want to just make sure you're posting at a time frame that the people over there can see as well. And of course, if we account for that, that should help us. So next question was Sam. Sam saying, how often should he mail his list? Well, this is an interesting one, really. This is really interesting. So I was looking at the responses from our list today, because we sent quite a few emails out lately. And I actually had about 6 or 7 messages in the inbox of people going, oh, thank you, really appreciate it. Thank you for actually sending them emails, because some of them are content-based, some of them offer a product, and people thank you. Now, at the same time, I had the odd one of somebody that moans, it's like, da, 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 da. the reality is you can't please everybody. And one of the things that I used to do is I didn't used to mail the list as much. I wasn't mailing the list as much at all. And one of the things that Damien said to me is that I'd rather overmail it, and they tell us that, calm it down, than not overmail it. Because the reality is still with your open rates, if you're getting 20%, you're doing well, i.e. 20% of the people open your email, you're doing well. If 10% of your people open your email, you're not doing so well. It just depends on the size of your list. Now, if you've got a tiny list, you might be getting 40% of people open your email. And if you're still getting that amount of people opening it, then you might not need to be mailing them more than, once a day or once every few days. But if you get to the point where you're doing once a month, it's just nowhere near enough. If you're doing once a month, you're wasting that database, right? You need to be regularly, you need to be messaging them much more regularly than that. People tend to appreciate it when you keep in touch with them. They tend to appreciate if you do have great products and great services, then why shouldn't you communicate it? I do think that, one of the questions I was asked on Gold Circle, I think Nick asked me the question, like, how do you sell in difficult times? Well, you just do it. You just go out there and you tell people about what you do because you believe in what you do, and the people that need your product or service right now are going to go and get your product or service right now. And the people that don't need it are not going to go and get it. And the people that are going to moan at you are going to be the people that were going to moan at you anyway. That is the pure reality. So we just need to, be putting ourselves out there and having the conversations. It comes down to a test of how much value do you truly add? How much value do you truly add? How good is it what you do? Because if what you do is really good and you add loads of value to people, then go and tell them about it. Because if you don't, you're wasting time, you're wasting opportunities. You need to get your message out there. You need to go and tell people about it. For me, that's really, really important. And I think I have done the question. So I might do another question. I'll look back through the list in a minute. So what we saying? What's everybody saying? So Kirsty's saying agree. We've got still loads of Nando's comments. Right, I hit the magical word. Today's magical word is Nando's. So Amy saying I learned how to cut videos yesterday because of Instagram Secrets. Yeah, I did some cool stuff. There was a cool software that I showed you on there. It was good. I'm sure you enjoyed that. He said, thanks for the gauge. Andrew saying he's loving Insta Secrets. That's good. Pleased to hear it. For giving a nice shout out to Beth. She did very well with that. Thanks on the patience. Everything's a matter of process, patience, and perseverance. Ross is saying, absolutely. Ronak, Debbie saying there's a champagne headache there. Ross is saying test and tweet. Going to watch the rest of this tomorrow. Go and have a shower. Good stuff. No problem. My pleasure, Jordan. Hope you've been doing well. Okay, so I think there was one question. I'm going to do the YouTube question, and then any other questions, then I'll leave tomorrow, right? I'll leave it to tomorrow. So how do you build a following on YouTube? So YouTube is the more difficult, in terms of looking at Instagram is difficult. YouTube is difficult as well to build a following. You need to obviously get subscribers. Now, look at your habits as a consumer and what your habits personally are like, right? Because there's certain YouTube things that I watch, because what we tend to do is we tend to have 4 or 5 things that we watch regularly on YouTube. And even though the people that I watch their videos regularly and I go back to their videos, I still actually don't subscribe to them. And why do I not do that, right? Why do I not subscribe to them? Well, the reality is every time you go and press that subscribe button, you have to log into your Gmail account. And if you're not already logged into your Gmail account and you can't remember your Gmail account, you can surf YouTube and watch whatever you want without being logged in, right? So when you have to go and like something or get engaged with something, if you're not logged in and you don't know your password, you can't subscribe. So I found that has stopped me many, many times as a consumer from actually consuming stuff on YouTube. How many of you found the same thing? Put it in the comments if you found the same thing. Be interesting whether that's myself. But this is the way I kind of like to dissect things and this is what we should all do, right? We should all do this. Whenever you are purchasing or whenever you are going through the process or you're consuming, you need to look at what your experience is like or what your habits are like or the things that you're doing are like. And you need to look at, how easy it is to do things. This is like in a real principle of business is make it easy for people to buy. And in this circumstance, subscribing to their channel is then buying, right? That's kind of the analogy of it. And if it's not easy to do it, people won't do it. So you have to make it easy for people. And if you make it easy for people, and that's why it's quite difficult to build the following on YouTube, right? However, everyone that's a hardcore YouTube user, so they use YouTube all the time, and they're a hardcore person for YouTube, they will be subscribed, right? And they usually subscribe to a lot of channels. So one of the easiest ways to build a YouTube following is by using the ads, right? And one of the things that I think I've got 1,200 people that follow me on YouTube. Considering I've got 330,000 on Facebook, it's not very big, is it? And I've got 52,000 on Instagram, it's not a massive amount, all right? And you can go and follow me on YouTube if you want to add to that 1,200, right? We do put content on there, and now I'm doing the live streaming with YouTube. We'll find that following will go up. That's another thing that you can do. You start live streaming to YouTube and putting in the correct tags. YouTube is very much a game of SEO as well. So it's about building your SEO up on your YouTube as well, is another thing. So it's slightly more complex. People saying we'll go out and do loads of great content and stuff. It doesn't necessarily work like that. A lot of the content on YouTube is branded. The video quality is usually high. There's a lot of different things with YouTube. For me, it's probably not the one to start on, right? That's what I'll be honest with you. If it's obvious, isn't it? Why do I not put as much effort and time into it? I'll tell you why I don't put as much effort and time into it. It's because it's very, very difficult to drive the traffic out of YouTube because they don't have contact buttons in the same way that Facebook do, in the same way that Instagram do. They don't have the simplicity, the user simplicity there. However, I also do know a lot of people that use YouTube very, very successfully. So I would say if YouTube's going to be your thing, just understand that you are going to be doing a lot of work in order to build that up. And if you invested that work in a different platform like Facebook, or you invested it in Instagram, then you would find that your results follow a lot quicker. And there isn't necessarily a better quality of person on YouTube. The only difference with YouTube users statistically is that they watch videos for longer. So if you plan on doing longer videos, then you might want to look at YouTube as another resource, as another platform. From an SEO perspective, which surprised me, is that Vimeo is actually, a higher ranking video platform as well. So hopefully that answers the YouTube question for you. I'm just going to look at the comments before we kind of end up. This has been a nice long one for everyone. So as soon as I get the questions, they go on a lot longer. Right, so Sunil say you're interested in the YouTube career. I can probably do a bit more on YouTube for you if you like. If you'd like to hear more about YouTube, put it in the comments and I can do a bit more. I can show you some stuff on there. Would you recommend Facebook, Instagram, and then YouTube, or dedicate the time to all? So I really would recommend for everyone, when it comes to social, build your following on Facebook. It's the biggest. It's got the most people on. It's the easiest to use. It's simple. So I'd look at Facebook, and then I would look at Instagram. For those of you that are already doing Instagram, you're going to see that you're starting to find it easy to build your following, right? And if you build your following on Instagram, the engagement is very, very good. The live video. The real beauty of Instagram is actually the stories. Instagram stories are fabulous because you can see who's following you, who's engaging with you, who's watching all your stories and everything. So Instagram's really, really good for that. I think Instagram's really, really good for e-commerce and good for brands as well. So it's powerful. I think Facebook for just general social and for live videos, very, very good as well. So I'll probably look at Instagram, Facebook. Then you're moving on to other channels like YouTube. Maybe you're moving on to other channels after that, but they're the ones I would kind of look at as you build your profile and you build your brand outwards. So Amy's saying YouTube is the same thing. Yes, I've been subscribing. That's absolutely right, Nikki. That's right, Tanel. That's right, Amy. Been through exactly the same thing. Very, very difficult sometimes to subscribe. You make it difficult for someone, they generally don't do it. So, make it easy for someone to buy, or make it easy for someone to click, make it easy for them to do what you want to do. Okay, everybody. So I think that's the end of my live video tonight. Time to feed the dogs and have some dinner. Let me know what it is you're doing this evening. No one commented on my Tiger King thing that I said, which I'm shocked. So let me know if you've been watching Tiger King. I was super impressed with that. I'll be really keen to hear what you, if any of you have watched that on Netflix. It's a cool show, cool thing that I've been watching. I thought it was really, really good, really interesting. So let me know. Hope you've enjoyed tonight's live. As I said to you, always, ask the questions, because if you ask the questions, you get the content. I'll post something out. I'll post something out tomorrow, where I'll give you the ability to ask some more questions. I'll do another live for you. We're going to keep them going. So happy to do the Q&A because it gives you lots more content, lots more to enjoy. So now Tiger King's a show on Netflix. It was cool. And Chris is saying not impressed enough to go vegan. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks everybody. It might be my pleasure. I hope you enjoyed this evening. Hopefully, remember we've got the webinar coming up, home-based webinar. If you want to jump on, that'd be great for you. And if you haven't got Insta Secrets, you've literally got a day left to get it at launch price. So go and take the action. You may as well get it done. It'd be really good for every single one of you. I know most of you have that are on the live now, but anybody that hasn't, you should get it. All right, we'll leave it there. Thanks, everybody. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed yourselves, and I look forward to seeing you very soon. And I hope you enjoy your evenings. Go and chill out, have some dinner, and watch Tiger King. And you'll